So reviewing a TV basically involves setting it up, which means putting it in a lineup with a bunch of other TVs, turning it on and calibrating. That's a function where I go in and adjust the picture quality to be pretty much equal to the other TVs and create a level playing field for judging how good the image is. There's really only 5 major TV brands right now: Samsung, Vizio, LG, Sony, and there's a new one called TCL out there that's making a lot of waves. So those are the main ones to consider, and they all offer a whole different range of TVs. The main thing to consider is how large of a TV you want. They range from 27 all the way up to 80 inches. You also want to consider how much priority you place on image quality. So different TVs get more and more expensive generally when they perform better. If you really value the best image quality, you're going to have to pay a little bit more. I would always say get an even larger TV than you think you need. Unless you have the kind of cabinet that restricts your TV space, the bigger TV is generally going to be better. If you're in a bedroom, I recommend you go to 50 or 55 inches if it's across the room. A living room situation, try to get to 55 or even 65 inches. Of course, if you have a smaller room or an apartment, you might want to downsize those a little bit. But again, especially with 4K TVs, you can sit pretty close, get a nice immersive image, and it really does pay off. Today you pretty much should get a 4K TV because they're really inexpensive, and unless you're getting a really small TV, your only choice might be 4K. Now you're not going to get much of an image quality boost from 4K resolution, especially because 4K content is relatively rare right now, but at the end of the day, the TV that you're going to want to get is probably going to be 4K just because they all are, and again, they're really cheap. Now, HDR stands for High Dynamic Range. It's a new TV technology that, along with 4K, really does improve the image quality. HDR is available from services like Netflix and Amazon. It's also available on new 4K Blu-rays. It really does create a lot of pop and clarity to the image that you didn't get before. Of course, HDR looks better on better televisions, and if you want a really nice HDR image, again, you're going to have to spend for the more expensive TV. Right now, the best picture quality in the market is OLED televisions. Most are made by LG, but Sony also sells a few. They deliver picture quality that's really above the LCD TVs out there by most of the other manufacturers. They produce really good image quality even to people who don't notice those sorts of things. Of course, most TVs are LCD and those OLEDs are very expensive, and there's some very good performing LCD TVs out there, especially ones that have local dimming. So smart TV functions are built into most TVs these days. We still think people should use a media streamer instead of the smart TV, but a lot of people want the convenience of just a single remote and using the built-in apps on their televisions. Some systems are better than others. We really like Roku TVs these days because they built Roku streamer functionality right into the television itself. Samsung and LG also do a pretty good job with their smart TV apps. TV style also varies widely. You can get some TVs that look really nice, really thin, that really blend into the room well, and some that look relatively generic. TV remotes are also a little bit different from one to the other. If you have a remote that can control different devices or operate without having to have line of sight to the TV, that's pretty cool. Room lighting does affect the picture quality of a lot of TVs, and some are brighter than others, but at the end of the day, most TVs are going to be bright enough for most rooms. One way to get around that is to select the picture mode that best accommodates the room lighting. A lot of TVs have a movie mode or a mode that's designed for dark room. I actually like that mode for pretty much any room lighting situation. Set it to the movie mode, and if it seems too dark, you can increase the backlight or other lighting adjustment on the television, and that'll preserve the most accurate picture and also make up for those relatively dim settings. So some TVs these days are building in the ability to work with one of the smart speakers like Alexa and Google Home. Amazon Alexa is available as a beta function on some Sony TVs, for example, and you can do things like call up different apps and change channels. There's also the ability of the Google Home to work with Vizio TVs directly to launch apps and, for example, search for YouTube videos. Google is also available on Sony TVs as an integrated assistant too. Some TVs also come with remote controls that allow you to talk into the clicker to get things to happen. You can launch apps and search TV shows and movies. Some also come with an integrated digital assistant that allows you to control different devices and appliances around the home.